Hey, Alvernia community. This month's Alumni Spotlight is with young alumna Jolkia Peralta, and I will be talking with her about her new business and how her Alvernia experience helped her along the way. So, hi, Jolkia. Thanks for joining me.
Danielle, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. We're honored. So, my first question for you is super easy. So, can you tell me what your degree was and what year you graduated?
So my degree was in business marketing and I graduated in 2012, which seems like an eternity ago.
I'm sure. Do you know what you wanted to do at that time with your degree?
Yes, I had I had a bunch of great professors in business, but I had an amazing sales professor. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to go sell stuff. I don't know what I want to do, but or what I'm going to sell, who I'm going to sell it to, but I want to sell stuff. So that's what my goal was, to go and be some sort of sales person.
Wow, that's awesome. So,
Yeah.
so then did that have anything to do with what your current employment is? Can you tell me a little about that?
Like with the business.
Yeah. So can you just tell me kind of like what you're doing now and how it led into that?
So so I opened Texture Curl Bar. This is week 7 of owning this business, and it's been amazing. I'm so grateful for all the support. But I didn't think this, like, if somebody would have told me when I was graduating from Alvernia, like, in X amount of years, you're going to be opening this business, like a hair salon, I would have been like what? Like, I would have been in disbelief because this wasn't the plan originally. When I graduated a month later, I started working for Iron Mountain, which was a records management and record storage company out of Collegeville. And I ended up being there for almost 9 years. I left Iron Mountain last October. And so when I got to Iron Mountain, all my goals and dreams of working in sales kind of all made sense. And I started in customer care. I got promoted a couple of times. I ended up managing a couple of teams. And then I made it to the sales team. And that was my last role with Iron Mountain. I was a customer success manager for 3 years. But along with doing that job, I had my daughter. I have 2 kids. I have Emmy, who is 6, and I have Max, who is 20 months. And when we had Emmy, Emmy was born. I feel like I've said this story 500 times, but this is literally what happened. Emmy was born with straight hair. And then when she was about 5 months, her hair fell out and it grew back curly. So I was like, I obviously I have naturally curly hair, and I've been kind of battling with it my whole life. I would like wear it curly on and off, but I would mainly wear it straight. And at that point, I even had, I don't know if you're familiar with like a keratin treatment, but I had a keratin treatment in my hair to straighten out my curls. And then when her hair fell out and it came back curly, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to learn how to deal with her hair. And through that, I learned how to deal with my hair. So I was trying products. I was watching YouTube videos. I was reading, I was researching and Googling and, like doing all these things just to learn about her hair because I wanted her to feel beautiful. And I didn't want to be a mom that wasn't a role model to my daughter. So after I saw how her hair was taking to all the things I was doing to it, I was like, I'm going to do this too. So I cut off all my hair, which was very long at the time. And I started my transition. And then I started sharing that mainly on Instagram and a little bit of it on Facebook. And then friends and family started asking me for advice and asking me for help. And so at that time, we lived in Royersford because I was working in Collegeville. David was working in Oaks. And David is my husband, by the way. He was working at Oaks. And that's when I was like, this was like almost 6 years ago now, like over 5 years ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I really love what I'm learning, like about hair. And I want to do this. Like, I want to start working on hair. And then my original thought, honestly, was to open a hair salon and hire hairstylists to work on natural hair, and I would just manage it. But it kind of morphed into me wanting to go to school, get my license. So I know this question kind of went all over, but this is the story. And to answer your question as to how sales applies to what I do now, I did learn a lot of customer care and sales in my career, kind of going along with my education and marketing. And everything I've learned, like I learned at Iron Mountain and what I learned at Alvernia, I'm using it at my business, at the salon, because the conversations that I have with my clients, it's in essence, I am selling. Like, I'm not directly selling them anything, but I am selling because it is a business. I am selling a service. I do sell products. I sell my t-shirts. So does that answer your question?
Oh my gosh, yes. And you answered like 3 other questions. I love it. I love that story. It is so beautiful because your daughter was this blessing in disguise that not only taught you about her and how to treat her hair, but taught you to love yourself and your hair too, and to appreciate the curls. I mean, you see my curls too. There was a point where I hated my curly hair too. I mean, I feel like everybody with curly hair goes through that.
And I feel like, and I see, tons of clients, and they all have a story of acceptance, of not accepting themselves, and eventually learning how to work with their hair and falling in love with it. And that's when you have that moment of like, oh my gosh, like, I'm not going to fight this anymore. I'm just going to embrace it. And that's what my daughter led me to do, which I was looking for a picture of hair. So I can show you her hair.
That is such a beautiful story though. I love how that came together. Really. That's very inspiring.
It was meant to be. She really, and she heard me tell this story the other day. And she was like, Mommy, like, you did this for me. And I was like, I did. Like, I did, because I wanted her to feel beautiful and not feel like I have to change my hair and do all these things to it that it doesn't naturally do, just to feel pretty.
Yes. And she helped you to become a strong businesswoman.
Yeah. Okay. This is Emmy. This is a post that I did when I was like doing the salon, but that's her hair.
Oh my God. Wow.
That's the before and the after.
Oh my gosh. It's gorgeous. Wow.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm looking for a better picture, but yeah, that's all her hair.
Oh my gosh. Wow, you did an incredible job.
Hair university. She's always had all this hair. And I learned on her.
Well, you got a good person to play with, to figure things out with, to test on.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that is such a great story. Thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful. So I feel like my next question kind of might have already been answered, but I'm gonna ask you it anyway. What makes you most passionate about the work that you do?
Oh man, that's another, like, where do I start? Honestly, like, it started with my daughter, and even self-acceptance and self-love for myself. But right now, honestly, there are really hard days, because this is a very physical and mental job that I do with, like, physically I'm on my feet all day, and mentally, people bring me these pictures or just these problems that they have, and I have to sit here and figure out how I'm going to cut the hair, how I'm going to color the hair, how we're going to, all these things. So it's very draining, but what keeps my passion going really strong is when people tell me, like, wow, like, my clients always say, like, after I cut their hair and style and diffuse, they tell me, I did not know my hair could do that. Like, I never knew my hair could be beautiful. And like, I have clients that giggle. I have clients that laugh. I have clients that cry when they see the final product, because they just like, it's like this moment of like, oh my gosh, like, my hair is beautiful. And then the feedback and how grateful people are. And like, when people tell me like, I'm never going to anyone else, which I know sounds extreme, but it's just how appreciative and happy people are that we are able to provide these services. And that on the days that I'm most exhausted, I read those messages and those reviews, and I remember the conversations I have with my clients, and it really, really keeps me motivated and it keeps me going.
Wow, what an impact that makes. And I can't imagine like the feeling of joy it brings to you too, knowing that you're helping others like that with their frustrations.
Yeah, because this, you know, it is beauty, but I feel like it goes deeper than just like, oh, make me look pretty. It's like feeling good, feeling normal. Like a lot of times we feel, you know, we feel like we're not normal, or we feel like nobody knows what to do with this hair. There are no products for me. And like people tell me, you know, coming to a place where I feel comfortable and I feel safe and I live beautiful, like it's the combination of everything that makes all this like so worth it and so special to me. This is my baby. Like texture is my third baby.
I love it. All right. So are you the only person working in your salon right now, or do you plan on hiring more people?
So we just hired someone last night.
Well, congratulations. Now you'll have some help.
Yeah. So we just hired someone. She's only working part-time because she's a student. I am working with the Barber Academy, like some of their students. I did a class there a couple weeks ago, and I got in touch with some really, really talented students. So I'm starting to bring some on board.
That's good. And I'm sure you're getting lots of recommendations too from other women that have come there, and they recommend other people. So I'm sure you'll be booming.
Oh my gosh. Thank God we are so booked, so busy, but
Good.
yeah, we are like, I couldn't have asked for like a better like beginning to this journey.
Awesome. So can you tell me like what impact your Alvernia degree has had on your career thus far, whether it be with Iron Mountain, like now with Texture Bar?
With everything, like I feel like my Alvernia education put me in a place where I could compete with anyone else that had graduated from any other school. I feel like in my career, I didn't leave my career because I wasn't thriving. I left my career because I was ready for a change. When I left, I needed to focus on my children because of the pandemic, and you know, Max was very, very young. So I kind of took a step back for a couple months. But my like Alvernia prepared me. Like I started Iron Mountain in a very like level 1 customer care call center, answering phone calls. Within the first 6 months, I got promoted. Then I got promoted to team lead. Then I got promoted again to team lead, then supervisor. And like I just feel like Alvernia prepared me to be able to communicate well, to perform well. Like I don't know how else to say it. Like Alvernia literally prepared me. And then for having a business degree and now owning a business, it feels natural. Like it felt like a natural progression. Like a lot of the stuff, the behind the scenes with Texture Curl Bar, I did on my own. I opened my LLC. I got my EIN number. Like I got my insurance. Like all these things that I probably could have gotten help from someone else, I did on my own because I learned a lot about how to set up a business going to Alvernia for marketing.
I'm so glad you felt so prepared like that to just be able to do it on your own. That's so important.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And so kind of going backward a little bit to when you were a student, if you can remember that far back.
Oh my gosh. I'm old. I look back and I'm like, I am getting old. Oh my gosh.
You are not. So can you tell me like what you were involved with when you were on campus here as a student?
Oh my Lord, it's been so long. So I was on the dance team for all 4 years. I was part of the BSU. I I think that was all 4 years. And at the end, I was the president of the club. And I did like other things. I was very, very involved on the campus. I was an RA. I'm trying to remember like what all I did. I worked at admissions. I worked in financial aid. I worked with the Office of Multicultural Initiatives. Wow, I did a lot. Who else did I work with? The career center, working on resumes. I was a tour guide.
Wow.
You name it. I was somehow involved.
That's awesome though. I love that you were that involved. Do you have like a favorite memory from campus?
When Alvernia went from Alvernia College to Alvernia University, I was there for that on the quad. And that was very amazing, like to witness that. And just, that was a big moment for the school. And to say that I was there, like I remember it was like fall of 08, and it was like awesome. And also witnessing the growth, like how Alvernia has grown, like it's incredible. I went back, when did I go back? It might have been like a year ago now, more or less. And just to see how big the campus is. There was no football team when I was there. And they're like all these apartment buildings are there, are there now, the new gym, like none of that was there. So to see everything how it was then and how it is now, it's like, wow, like Alvernia is amazing. Like, I love it.
Yes, it's definitely growing, and our alums only help it grow too. So, so now getting a little personal, can you tell me either an interesting fact about yourself or maybe a hobby that you're really into?
Oh, wow. I don't know. I feel like I don't have time to do anything that I'm into at this point. I don't know. Like, I don't even know what's interesting about me at this point. Like, I don't have time to think.
All right. So here, we'll change it up. So if you had just a complete day to yourself, like no kids, no husband, don't have to worry about your job, like what would you do an entire day to yourself?
Oh, this is so sad. I would sleep. I would probably eat, I don't know, I would like eat a salad or something because we've been eating so bad lately. I would
sleep.
I know it's sad.
Right. No, it's fine. I get it. When you're working like all the time and crazy hours and then taking care of your family, like that's a lot. It is. It's good to have time for yourself.
Yeah.
All right. And my last question for you is, what is one piece of advice that you wish you had known when you were a current student that like you wish you could tell a student now?
Oh my goodness. One piece of advice. I had a client in here the other day, and she's in high school, and she was saying that I don't know how she came across this recruiter, but she was talking to a recruiter and he wanted to recruit her to work on cars. And I was like, do you want to do that? And she was like, no, my dream is to go work for Disney. And I was like, okay. Like, she was saying that she's a theater kid. She likes to act. She likes to sing. And I'm like, oh, are you a talented singer? And she was like, oh, I'm okay. I'm like, sing me a song. So if you go to my Instagram, you'll see she sang not one, two songs, like a medley, like a song going into another song. She is so talented. Like, her voice is so good. And I was like, why would you go work on cars and waste your talent? Like your God-given natural talent. So my advice to people and my advice to myself would be follow your talent. Even though this kind of like the salon kind of came as like a turn, like a pivot in what I was doing. Back when I was in high school, I went to Reading High. I'm a Reading High grad, class of 08. And then I went to Voltech. I wanted to do cosmetology in Voltech. And I did not, because I felt bad asking my parents for the money for the kit, for the, like, you know, you get the mannequins and, you know, these like tools and stuff. So I ended up going for my second love, which is sewing. I like to sew. I like fashion. I like anything visual, beauty, you know, fashion, art. Like I really am into that. And I'm like, wow, thinking back, if I would have went if I would have done cosmetology back when I wanted to originally, I wonder like what would have been. But instead of going for my natural God-given talents, I kind of, you know, I went in different routes, which eventually led me here. But I would tell myself and anyone else, if you have a passion, if you have a talent, if you are naturally good at something, follow that. Like follow that and see where it takes you. And if it doesn't work out, there are always other options.
I love that. That's beautiful. Thank you.
No problem. I gave you all these long answers, but you know, we got to the point eventually.
No, I love it. That's what makes these kinds of things so great, is like learning about you and hearing your story. That's what this is all about, and then sharing that with others. And I really enjoyed that, and I really loved it. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing this with us.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to have been able to do this, and I hope to be back on campus soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jolkia.
Thank you, Danielle.